It took me a long time to discover that with my own children, because when our first son, the reason that I agreed to write these books with Henry Winkler was when he told me, we were introduced by a friend who's an agent, someone we both knew from working in television, and he was one who suggested that Henry write about his experience growing up dyslexic. And so when we met to talk about it, and he told me his story of how he had been kind of thwarted all through school, I resonated with that because our oldest son isn't dyslexic. He doesn't have a learning challenge, but he's probably ADD. I'm not sure we ever even had him diagnosed, but he was just a kid who wanted to do what he wanted to do. He was kind of a dreamy kid, and he was all, the teachers were always calling, Theo was making frog noises in class, and I would say, well, he's 3, he likes frogs, I don't know what to tell you. So, but I, as a due parent, would punish him. I would say, well, you can't play Nintendo because you made frog noises in class. And so it took me a long time to understand that he was different than me, that he wasn't going to, that his student path wasn't going to look like mine. I did everything right, and so I think as a parent, it's not something that someone can tell you. You have to learn by failure. I failed with him. This poor child I kept buying him calendars, day at a glance calendars to write down his homework assignments. And when he was maybe 15, after I'd been doing this for 12 years, I looked in the drawer of his desk, and there they all were. Not one of them was even unwrapped, and there were probably 50 of them. It was such a sad thing to see that this was my attempt to say, get organized, But he couldn't. He couldn't get. It was the most ridiculous assumption that was going to help him, because that's exactly what he couldn't do. Believe me, if he could have filled out those calendars, he would have, just to get me off his back. So it's something you have to learn about in parenting or in teaching, that you haven't created a second self, that here's this person, and they have their own way, they have their own needs, and it is not your job to make them like you. It's a mantra that you have to say over and over again. This is not my job description to make them like me. This is for me to see them. And it took me, I made a lot of mistakes in raising my own kids until I sort of got that. And I'm sure I lapse all the time, because you say, well, just call the dentist and make an appointment, I say to him now. And he says, what dentist? I forgot, lost his number, and he's a grown-up, and he's still saying, can you remind me what his name is again? So people are different. People are very unique, and part of the thrill of being a writer is that you get to explore that uniqueness and not try and even it out, but to celebrate differences. That's what characters. That's what writing an original character is, writing one that you haven't seen before, that isn't a type, that isn't an archetype, but that's a real, honest to goodness, authentic human being. And we're weird as human beings. We have infinite weirdness.